Iris kind of takes charge this season, is what we're hearing. She's got a leadership role.
Yeah, she is at the forefront for Team Flash and Star Labs starting, 6 months in the future. She's kind of had to step into the role that Barry left, and it's kind of a way for her of distracting herself too. She's obviously depressed and sad that Barry's gone, not sure when he's going to come back. So it's a good distraction for her to be the leader.
Is there a point where she questions if Barry's even going to be able to come back?
Absolutely. I think everyone is questioning if and when Barry's going to come back. And she deals with that in her own way. I think you'll see a very, very, very different Iris picking up season 4. She's almost hardened and a little more pessimistic and just kind of like, we got to move forward. We got to just keep moving. We don't know if Barry's coming back. We can't deal with that. All we can deal with is protecting the city.
So how is that dynamic? Now she's going to kind of be like the leader. How's it going to change, like with Wally? Because brother sister, how's that relationship going to work?
I think it's a great dynamic because now they get to work a little more closely together. Kid Flash has kind of had to step up to take over Barry's shoes, and so now Wally and Iris are kind of co-workers essentially, and they together that kind of dynamic we saw in the Flashpoint episode, this brother-sister team-up, which is really cool.
Are we going to see that brother-sister tension, though, Buck, like in certain moments?
I don't know. Wally and Iris have a good relationship. I don't know that there's much of that. I know Wally, they're planning some good stuff for Wally this season. He's going through a lot of changes himself, and so it'll be interesting to see how the dynamic between Iris and Wally changes, if it does. But I love Keenan.
What I always liked about your character, especially in the beginning, is Iris was kind of the investigative side of the dynamic of everyone that Barry was working with. So you had the techie people, but then you had Iris side of finding out where things were coming from and doing sort of investigation. But now that she's sort of at the beginning, are we still going to have a little bit of that where she's...
I don't know. That's always been my question since season 1 is where are we going with the reporter version of Iris West? I don't think they have any plans to develop that, unfortunately. I would love to see that. It doesn't mean that we'll never get there, but I don't know that is a priority for them right now with Iris. I think the role they want to see her in is the team leader at Star Labs. So I don't know what that means for her as a reporter at Picture News. I don't know. It's an interesting choice. We kind of know Iris as this ace reporter, iconically in the comic books.
It's one of her strengths.
Sorry?
It's one of her strengths even in the show.
Yeah.
She was like finding out the stuff that the other people couldn't.
And so maybe they'll incorporate that with her leadership at Team Star Labs, but I don't know. I just act. I say the lines.
Last season, how much did you know about how Iris' fate was going to play out, and did you kind of know how they were going to get out of that?
I knew very early on. No thanks to any of the producers, let me tell you that. I think Grant one day was like, hey, by the way, they're going to kill you, but you're not really dead. Don't worry. Don't worry, you're not going anywhere. And I was like, thank you for giving me a heads up, because that's a terrible thing. Like, no actor wants to die on the show. So I knew very, very early, maybe episode 3 or 4. Yeah. So it was fun watching the fans, like, Iris is dead, she's leaving the show. I'm like, nah, I ain't going nowhere.
Last season there was some really great development with Barry and Iris, obviously. What was your favorite part about that dynamic and how it evolved over the season?
It's been a long time coming. Barry and Iris, they've been flirting with the idea of them for 2-3 seasons, and so it was nice to finally see them get on the same page. Iris was dating Eddie, and Barry was dating Patty and Linda, and it seemed like they could never kind of find the right timing to be with each other. So last season was finally Barry and Iris kind of meeting Kismet and everything just like working out. Those proposal scenes were beautiful and epic and iconic. I feel like, when you look back at the series, those are the moments that will live forever. And so hopefully, this season we continue with more of that. There's still a wedding that we're planning, and hopefully we get Barry out at Speed Force so we can have it and walk down the aisle. Yeah.
Or run down the aisle?
I love that.
If he gets out of the Speed Force, what do you think? What do you think Iris' headspace for the reunion will be, considering how he went in there?
Great question. Yeah, I think, he didn't consult her. It was a snap decision. And so I think, when and if he comes out, that's a conversation they need to have about communication. as iconic as they are, Barry and Iris still have their issues, and they desperately need to work those out before they walk down the aisle. And so that's something that I think we'll delve into this season.
Does Iris have any friends, especially female friends, who are not at Star Labs?
Linda Park, but she's gone. I keep advocating for Linda Park to come back because I feel like they, of all of the characters, could have a really great female friendship. But yeah, I don't know if that's something that's going to happen. But we've got Caitlin, we've got Gypsy, Jessie Quick, who's kind of taken off for now. But yeah, I don't know. The female friendships are kind of not as strong. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe season 4. Maybe.